DURGASOFT. Yeah, thank you for enabling my screen share. Okay, yesterday we have seen how to create an EPS cluster. Uh, okay, so let me explain the cluster config file which we have yesterday, that we have seen yesterday actually. Okay, what is that cluster config file? What are different configurations that we have written as part of that cluster config file? Okay, we have written this is the cluster config file which we have written as part of this EKS cluster. Okay, so with this EKS cluster config file, we have created an EKS cluster, right? And we have moved further something like that. What are the different configurations that we have? Okay, here API version is the fixed version. Actually, you no need of changing this one. It is a fixed version. You need to use that one actually. And we have the kind, it should be the cluster config. That means it's the configuration of the cluster actually. Under the metadata, you need to provide the name of the cluster actually. And we have regions in AWS. In which region you want to create a cluster, that region you want to provide. And which version of the Kubernetes cluster you need to deploy, that version information you need to provide. Under the node groups, you need to provide the information about the node group. What is a node group actually? What is the node group actually? When we say a word called node group, what is the meaning of node group in EKS? 1 second. In a call actually. So that's thing actually. So what is a node group when we deal with node groups actually? Let me go here to the diagram so that I can explain a node group. So here, let me remove all these things which are not required in your case. Okay, let me remove these things. Here we have our Kubernetes cluster. So this is our Kubernetes cluster, EKS cluster. Node group refers to EKS terminology. You need to understand that one. Node group refers to EKS terminology. Okay, now we have a set of nodes as part of this cluster. Okay, suppose this is the first node. Okay, so control V. This is going to be my second node, and this is going to be my third node, and this is going to be my fourth node. Right, these are the four nodes that we have as part of the cluster. A group of nodes together called as node group. Suppose these two things, these two nodes. Nodes means virtual machines, servers. Okay, so these two nodes is a group. Okay, and these two nodes is another group. Okay, this is the group of nodes is nothing but a cluster. Okay, so these are something called node groups actually. So you can decide the capacity of the nodes using node groups actually. In one node group, I want 4 GB RAM and 4 GB CPU, four CPUs. And in the second node group, I want the machines with 8 GB RAM and 8 CPUs. You can differentiate something like that. Okay, you can increase the capacity of your cluster based on the node groups. Okay, now this is something called node group. You need to provide the node group information as part of your uh, cluster config file. This is one node group information. Like that, if you want another node group, you can provide another node group information, node group number two, something like this. And you need to provide the, let me remove this. Okay. You need to provide the node group name, name of the node group, and the instance type. What is the type of the instance? That means based on the instance type, you will be getting the capacity for that machine actually. You will be getting the capacity for that machine actually. So that means T2, T3 dot medium will be having a particular capacity, something like 4 GB RAM and 4 CPU, something like that. Based on this is the terminology of the AWS T3 dot medium. And the desired capacity, that means how many number of machines, that means servers you want to run as part of this node group. That's the desired capacity. The volume size means the size for the storage capacity for each volume that you want to allocate. The storage capacity for each volume that you want to allocate, that becomes the size of the you can see that here, the volume size actually. For every node, for every server, i want to I want to allocate 30 GB of storage capacity. That's the meaning of that actually. Uh, for every machine, I want to allocate 30 GB of storage capacity. Okay, that's what the meaning of that actually. So the next thing is the SSH public key. This is the key pair that is there as part of your uh, 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 AWS account actually, which I've mentioned in the previous classes. You need to create a key pair, right? Okay, let me go to my AWS account. Let me show you one more time. If I missed that one, let me go here and go to my AWS account, click on the refresh, and I think it reload. Then I need to log in. Okay. Okay, this is my email and password. Yeah, that's the cluster config file which I've displayed just previously. Let me click on sign in. And let me go to authentication. Yeah, you need to go to the EC2 service. You need to click on in the search box, go to EC2, search for EC2, and click on this EC2. And once you have in this place, go to this where is that uh key pairs section. Yeah, click on this key pair section. You need to create a key pair. Okay, just give a key pair a name or something like this, and you need to click on create a key pair. It is going to download a file. Just keep that file as in a safe place. Okay, then your key pair will be listed something like this here. The name of the key pair that you need to give here as part of this thing actually, public key name, you need to give the name of the key pair, right? So that your instance will be attached to the security purpose actually. So this is the cluster config file in order to create the EKS cluster. That means using EKSCTL. Actually, you need to understand that. Okay, using EKSCTL, this is a cluster config file which we have created the EKS cluster with actually. Okay, so now today we are going to create the KubeADM cluster. KubeADM cluster in real time never used. Okay, we have some disadvantages with the KubeADM cluster, but yeah, that's never used. And we will be using cloud provider clusters only, like EKS or AKS or GKE. The concepts which you are going to see is same across the clusters, whatever the cluster you take, but the clusters which are provided by the cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and the Google Cloud is different actually. So that's the thing. Okay, so the concepts which we are going to discuss in this Kubernetes are same. Okay, you need to understand that. Now, how to create KubeADM cluster? Now let me go to my AWS console, click on the instances, click on the instances. Uh, Let me delete the instance which is not required from me. Instance to terminate instance. I want to terminate one of the instance. Instance means it's a server. Just do not confuse server. Instance means server. Now click on launch instance. Launch instance. I want to give instance. I don't want to give any instance a name. Okay. I want to select Ubuntu operating system. Ubuntu operating system. And let me select T2 dot medium. T2 dot medium will be having two CPUs and 4 GB memory, and which will costing me 0.0496 US dollars per hour per machine, actually, per server. That's what I need. Uh, Key pairs, under the key pairs, you need to select the name of the key pair which you want to use. Select the JDK, and I am selecting the JDK actually. In the security group, click on this, select existing security group. In here, you need to select the default security group, and you need to provide the storage here. Something like that. I am going to provide the 15 GB of storage, and I am going to create the two instances. That means two servers which are required for me. Launch instance. I'm going to launch these instances. Click on this one. Click on the instances. Your instances are going to be launched soon. You can see that we are launching our instances. That means we are creating the servers. Now, give these servers a name. I am giving the server name as master, first server name as master, and the other server name as worker, WORKER, worker. Let me click on save. Okay, so we are giving the name something called master and server. Did we take 15 GB disk space? Yes, I think. 1 second, let me recheck. Click on this, go to this, and go to the storage section. Yes, we have taken the 15 GB of disk space for each machine. Okay. Okay. So they are being initialized. You can see that here they are being initialized. Let's wait for it to complete. Or just let me connect actually. We click on that machine, checkbox, and go to connect and click on connect option. You are connected to, just wait, it is going to connect actually. Let me connect to the other machine as well. Worker, click on connect and click on connect. You are connected to system. Okay, that means server. Sudo su hyphen. I am switching to root user into machines. Let me switch to sudo su hyphen and clear the screen. Right now, I have some shell scripts now to run in order to create a KubeADM cluster actually. Now copy this shell script, copy this actually. Now go here. You need to clone the repository. Git clone. I'm not sure Git is present or not here. Yeah, that's the thing. Remove this. Let me check the Git is present or not first. Yeah, Git is present. Okay, let me go here. Repository. It is that repository here in this place. Go here, and it should be HTTPS, but not SSH. And go here. Okay, git clone and the repository name. URL. Okay, it is going to clone the repository, clone it in the two instances. See, do not worry what this contains actually. As of now, just concentrate on how to create the cluster, what this contains, what are the different components that is going to be deployed. I'm going to explain the future actually. Git clone, just KubeADM script, clone the scripts. That's it. Okay. So in the once you have cloned in these scripts, okay, here this machine is something called master. You can see that this is a master machine, which ends with 4231. Right. You need to see that here 4231 is a master. You can see with 42. This is just a name. We have differentiated the servers with the names, master and the worker. That's it. Okay, let me go to master. Once you are in the master, once you have cloned the repository, you need to go to KubeADM scripts. You need to go to KubeADM scripts. In that KubeADM scripts, we have scripts folder. We have scripts folder. In this scripts folder, we have a script called common.sh script dot slash common.sh. Execute this script in the script folder. Actually, you need to execute something like this dot slash common dot sh. That is how you need to use the command and execute the script. Let it complete. Okay, the same script you need to execute in the worker. Let it complete fully, but yeah, before that, you go to the worker node, you go to the KubeADM scripts again, which you have cloned. And in this KubeADM script, you know to script, you need to go to scripts and you need to go to dot slash common dot sh, execute the script here as well. Which second file you mean? You mean the master.sh or master.sh. The first file name is common.sh and the second file name is going to be the master.sh. It is telling you some 52%. Yeah, it has been executed. And let me check the other machine. It's still been executing. So let it complete fully. Okay, this has been executed here as well. Now go to the master machine, which you have with the machine which you have named with master, and execute the other file that is common.sh. Sorry, we have executed common.sh. We need to execute master.sh into this file. Click on enter. Hello. See, what are all these things I'm going to explain? Just concentrate on creating the cluster. It creates many things. The container runtime engine, the etcd, kube API server, kube controller manager, scheduler, all these things it will be doing. But yeah, just yeah, it has been executed properly. Master.sh script. Go to the top. You will be seeing some commands. Copy the command, this one, copy it and execute in the worker node, this one. Okay, so now your worker node has joined the cluster. You will be getting this notification. Now go to the master node and execute kubectl get nodes. Nodes means number of servers that is being formed as a cluster. You have two different nodes. One is worker node, other one is master node. Right? You can see that this is a worker node and this is a master node. And which named with control plane. What is the difference between worker node and master node? I'm going to explain that I am creating the cluster with 1.29 version of this Kubernetes actually. Right. So kubectl is a client to connect with the cluster and execute the commands. We can see that I am able to execute the commands. So how you can access this kubeadm clusters? Yes. No, no, no. In both the servers, we need to execute, we need to install command data. No, no, no. In all the servers, what both the servers, or how many servers you take, you need to execute common.sh file. But only on the master server, you need to execute master.sh file. Once you executed master.sh file in the master server, you will be getting a command, something like this. You need to take this command and execute that command in each worker node that you have, so that the worker nodes will be joining the cluster actually. That's what you need to understand, Hema. Yeah. Okay. So that's the thing. Now your cluster is being created. You can able to access the cluster from your server actually. But how you can access this cluster from your local machine? That's what you need to understand. You need to go to cd/etc/kubernetes folder. Okay, Kubernetes folder. In this Kubernetes folder, we have a file called admin.conf. This is a file which you need to copy. What is this file? I'll be explaining in the security section of the course. Just copy this file as of now and go to your local machine. Go to your local machine, open the command prompt, go to the home directory, and in the home directory, you will be seeing .cube folder. Okay, after installing the kubectl client, kubectl is one of the tool in order to connect, in order to communicate with the cluster. I have told you yesterday, right? You need to install the kubectl tool on your local machine. Once you have installed the kubectl tool on your local machine, in the home directory, you will be seeing .cube folder, something like this. Okay, so you need to go inside the .cube folder. Inside this .cube folder, we have a config file. Okay, now let me remove this config file rm-rf config and let me vi config. In this config file, paste the content we have pasted from the okay above from the server actually. So something like this here. Okay, copy this content again. I've not copied it. I mistakenly copied it. Let me copy this. Do not miss any of the word, any of the letter as well. Okay, you will not be able to connect to the cluster if you miss anything. Okay, now go here and paste it something like this. I have pasted this one. Click on escape. 1 second. Double is equal to G. Is that right? No, no, it's not double equal to G. It's double equal to only. Okay, you can see that I have made a mistake here. It's not being a G. Escape, colon, WQ, enter. I have pasted the config file. You need to go to root folder, again cd this one, kubectl get nodes. You can see that here we are able to access the nodes from my local machine now. Okay, so this is how you need to create a KubeADM cluster. Okay, so how to create a KubeADM cluster? You need to first clone the repository on all the servers which you want to create a cluster with, and execute common.sh script that is there as part of the scripts folder in that repository in all the machines, and you only execute the master.sh on only the master machine on that particular thing. Actually, on the master machine only execute script.sh on the master machine only. Okay, that's what you need to understand. And after executing the master.sh on the master machine, you will be getting a command something like this. Okay, here it is. You need to take this command and copy this command and execute this command and in all the worker machines that you want to form a cluster with actually. Okay, that's how you need to understand. Okay, so it's like that. Okay, so yeah, this is how you need to create a cluster and you need to access the cluster. You can see that you are able to access the cluster on your local machine. You can see that kubectl get pods something like this. You can see that no pods in the particular namespace. Right. So that's how you are going to access the cluster actually and all those things actually. Okay. So now this is the second way of creating cluster, KubeADM cluster. Just remember for your information, this way is not used anywhere in real time because it's a Kubernetes cluster only, but it is not a uh, feasible cluster. Actually, we have created a bare metal cluster that is KubeADM cluster. It is not suitable for real time. Real time people uses cloud provider clusters like EKS, AKS, or GKE. But why I have shown you this cluster? Because you need to get the very less amount of cost, right? So for the cost savings, I have mentioned this cluster actually. If you want to create, you can create something like this. Okay, the other cluster that I want to show you how you can use the KubeADM labs is using Killer Coda. Killer Coda is one of the platform where you can get the online cluster. Okay, where you can get the online cluster. Go to the Killer Coda platform, click on any of the following using Google or the Gmail. Okay, let me click on my account and you will be entering into the Killer Coda and go to the click on the playgrounds. Okay, click on the playgrounds. Click on the Kubernetes 1.31, this one. Okay, so you will be logged in into the Kubernetes cluster. You can see that I have logged in to the Kubernetes cluster. Actually, you can start, you can execute the kubectl commands from this place. Kubectl get nodes. Okay, so this is also a KubeADM cluster. You can see that this is also a KubeADM cluster. Okay, you have access to an empty KubeADM cluster with two nodes, with two GB nodes, something like this. You have access to an empty KubeADM cluster with two 2 GB nodes, right? So this is also a KubeADM cluster, but it is online Kubernetes cluster. Actually, you have access to an empty KubeADM cluster with 2 GB nodes. But yeah, that's the thing actually. Okay, so it's online. Okay, so cluster actually you can also practice something like this here also, but yeah, that's your option. It's entirely free, right? So, but it is only accessible for 60 minutes. Okay, once the 60 minutes got completed in doing your labs, just click on this refresh page. You are going to get again new 60 minutes actually. Okay, so if you want to create a subscription, you can also take the plus subscription plus membership, so that it will be available for you for 4 hours continuously without refreshing. Okay, that's how online Kubernetes killer coda works actually. Okay, this is a one way of using killer coda platform for Kubernetes labs. The other way we have is using minikube. Minikube way. Minikube. Okay, click on this mini cube. Okay, now you need what you need. You will need 2 GB memory, 2 GB CPUs, and 2 GB memory and 20 GB free disk space. Okay, you need internet connection. All these are the prerequisite, and how you can install is listed something like this here. I want Linux, and it's this one. A binary download is this one to start your cluster and all these things. Okay, so now let me install the minikube cluster now. Okay, so go to the machines. Okay, click on create launch a machine. Let me give a machine name minikube and click on this Amazon Linux. And I want to take uh, T2 dot medium size of machine because I require 2 GB RAM and two CPUs. Okay, this is the one. I'm selecting a key pair that is JDK, and I am going to this selecting an existing security group, select the default security group and give 20 GB of storage. Now click on launch instance. Your instance is going to be launched. Okay, see for all these instances, I am going to be costed. Okay, but it's very less cost because compared to EKS actually. Okay, that's what you need to understand. Okay, this is a minikube node I have created. Nothing is there as part of this node. Just I have named this node as minikube. That's it. Now click on this node, click on connect, and click on connect actually. Okay, so now once you have connected, you just check the prerequisite. Okay, 20 GB of free disk space we have given, 22 GB of free memory is there, two CPUs are there, and container internet connection is also there, and container or virtual machine manager such as Docker. You need to install Docker. Right now, let me go here. Sudo su hyphen. Let me switch to root user and let me install Docker. That is yum install Docker -5. Okay, just click on enter. You are going to install Docker. Docker is a container runtime engine. Yeah, your Docker has been installed. Once you have installed your Docker, go to your minikube documentation, copy this one, curl command, and put it here as part of this server. Put it here, execute it, and binary will be downloaded. Copy this, copy this, go to the server, and a binary is going to be downloaded. Okay, so yes, click on Y. Yeah, now you have downloaded the minikube and you need to go here. You are going to get an error mostly. Click on this one and you need to execute that one. Minikube start is a command. It's a single node cluster. Only one node is there. Only one machine is there. Okay, that is this minikube. Okay, just click on this one. You can see that you have an error. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to go to exit. Okay, exit out of the root user, and you need to exit user mod hyphen ag. We have some command to join the root. You need to execute this command. 1 second. Think this one. It's not. I need to copy this one. Uh, Let me put this one here. Here Docker ec2 hyphen user something like this. Okay, now minikube hyphen here also you're going to okay minikube space start. Okay. Now what you need to do, just refresh the screen. Or you can also use the other way. Let me tell you, minikube start. You can also use the other way. Where is that suggestion? Unable to. Okay. Now, okay. The problem here is system CTL status Docker. We have installed the Docker, but not the started the Docker. That's what the problem. Uh, uh, yes, you're right. Yeah, just forgot to install start the Docker. Now, how to start the Docker? System CTL start Docker sudo. Yeah, now your Minikube cluster is being started. Minikube start. Yeah, the problem there is we have installed the Docker, but not started the Docker actually. Let it fully complete. Yeah, done. kubectl is now configured with the use of the minikube and default namespace actually. Right. We have installed minikube. First, we have installed Docker and you need to start the Docker. Then you need to install minikube. Third thing that you need to install in order to use this minikube cluster is kubectl. Kubectl install, right? Whatever the cluster it is, kubectl is required to connect to the cluster. Right, let me click on this one, Kubernetes installation documents, and go to the install kubectl on Linux and click on this one and go to copy this command, simple command. 1 second. Again, yeah, actually, what is the user mod command which you are asking, Haima? He is the user mod command. What I have used here is I have used something like this EC2 hyphen user. Not this one here. I have used something like this here EC2 hyphen user. What the meaning of this is? You are adding. See, in the next we are having the concept of users and groups. Okay, so here you are adding EC2 user to the Docker group. EC2 user to the Docker group so that EC2 user will be able to execute the Docker commands. So that's what this command is. User mod is a command to modify the user configuration. That means to you are modifying this EC2 hyphen user configuration. What you are modifying? You are adding this EC2 hyphen user to the Docker group so that EC2 hyphen user can execute the Docker commands. Okay, so that's what the meaning of the user mod command. Actually. Is that clear? That's fine. Did you get that? Yeah, okay. So now let me copy this kubectl. Go to this. Actually, now install the kubectl here, curl and this one. Okay, this is how you need to install it. Only two commands just to install this. Something like this. Okay, you know what of following the second step and just follow the third one, copy it and go here and put it here. Okay, sudo install kubectl. And if you see kubectl, you get nodes. You can see that now. You can see that here we are able to get the node actually. You can see that this is one node. Only this is one node cluster. Kubectl get all hyphen hyphen all hyphen namespaces. See these commands which we will be getting, you will be getting actually. Do not worry as of now. Just we are in the starting stages of Kubernetes. Okay, these are the different things that we have as part of this things actually. Okay, kubectl get nodes. You can see that here. This is the name of the node and the status of the node, the role. What is the role? That means it's is it the worker node or the master node? You can see that it's the control plane node. It's master node, the age when this node created, and the version of the Kubernetes cluster that you are running 1.310 version actually. Okay, this is how you need to get the nodes. What is the nodes? The number of servers that are formed as a cluster actually. That's the nodes actually. Now you can describe the node. Copy the node name, minikube. You kubectl describe node and the node name. You can clearly describe the node and it will show you the description of the node and the details of the node actually. Okay, you can see that here when it is created and all the things. Okay, so do not worry as of now all about all these things. Okay, do not worry as of now how much amount of CPU is used by this pod, by this application that is running on this node, something like that, and all these things. Okay, so just for your information, this is how you need to describe the node. That's it. What are all these things? Just do not worry as of now. Okay, so that's a how you need to describe the node. So I have shown you multiple ways of creating clusters. One way is the first way I've shown you the EKS cluster creation using cluster config file. The second way is the KubeADN cluster I've shown you today. And third way I've shown you is an online Kubernetes cluster, Killer Coda. And the fourth way is this cluster actually, that is Minikube cluster. See, why I'm showing all this creation of clusters is because to reduce your cost as per of this course actually. Okay, so sometimes in our class we are going to use KubeADN clusters, sometimes online killer coda, sometimes EKS, but not we are not going to use Minikube. Okay, we will be switching between these three clusters: online killer coda, and the KubeADM as well as EKS. Actually, we will be using all these three clusters in our course. Actually, okay. So in this way, you can reduce the cost. Online killer coda is entirely free for you, and this Minikube will be costing a bit more, and KubeADM will be costing a bit more than the Minikube. The EKS will be costing a more than the KubeADM actually. So something like that, the cost purpose. Okay. So this is how these are the different ways of creating cluster. And now you can decide which cluster you can use for the you are practicing of labs actually. But in real time, people uses EKS cluster. Okay, if they are using AWS cloud to create the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. Any questions, anyone, please? Anyone have any questions?
Sorry, I just want to know
Uh-huh.
all the cluster all the way to create the cluster you explained. It's just for the educational purpose or in industry. What cluster did we use? If my company is using Azure, what cluster would you use?
Yeah, if your company is using Azure, the cluster which you might be using is AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service.
So using Minikube or other type of cluster when I am learning, when I will be on the stage on the work, it will be easy to use Azure.
Yes, actually, see, all the concepts which we are going to learn in this course are common across all the clusters. Okay, it is not for Azure one type of concept, in AKS, in Minikube is one another type of. It's not like that. The concepts are common across all the clusters. If you learn the concepts in with one cluster, it is applicable to all the other clusters in across the clouds or wherever you create the cluster, bare metal cluster, wherever it is actually. So that's the thing actually. Just
Okay, thanks. I like the way you explain the thing. Yes, I think I will enjoy it. Thanks a lot.
yeah. Anyone have any questions, please? Okay, I don't want to start the cluster architecture today and stop it in the middle. I want to start this cluster architecture in a fresh class, actually. Uh, that's the thing, actually. So we are renting the servers to install the Kubernetes and using. Please correct me if you're wrong. Yes, you are renting the servers. You are paying the rent for every month if you are using the servers. Yes. Okay, so that's the thing actually. Today is the last demo class for the Kubernetes people who are joined newly. You all the people with the new or old people will be receiving a new link uh, today to join the tomorrow's class. Just for your information, if you are interested, please go ahead and register for the course with the details that is pasted in the chat by the DurgaSoft people. That's what I can say. Okay, so any questions, anyone, please? Okay, if no questions, thanks for joining. Okay, please share the notes. And yeah, these people have asked Haima actually. So I've asked these people to give me the drive access. I'm not sure why he's not giving. So let me ping their boss to give me the access so that they will be giving me. So I'll get back to you with that actually. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so just remember, today's last class for the demo. You are going to get the new link tomorrow. Okay. So thanks for joining. I'll meet you in the next class with a new link. And thank you. Bye.